Hello, in this video for Medlium, we'll be looking at the inventory tab and how to add new inventory items and change them based on the patient's profile. So first you click on the top right hand corner, the plus button, and then you select medication or vaccine. We'll select medication. Now you can search for medications in the search box there. We'll just search for one. And now it brings you to a menu where you can select the strength of the medication that you searched for. It just has some very commonly prescribed strengths. And here you have a lot number that you can add, and a manufacturer. And then you can type in when it expires. Scroll down. And we will just make up an expiration date. And here you have doses remaining that you can add. We'll add 20, and then you have an alert threshold, which is the amount of doses remaining where it notifies you that you only have that many remaining. And I press save, and there it has Aggrastat injectable, 0.05 milligrams per milliliter. You have 20 doses, which is that blue number in the circle on the left. And now to see how that is used by the patient's profile, we'll go over to the Patients tab. And we'll select a patient. We'll just use one that's already been created. One thing to note, that just like everything else in the Patients tab, once we add this medication to their profile, once we add a dose of this, it'll post on the right. So you'll have two records of the medication being used. You'll have the inventory being decreased, and you'll have the Patients tab showing that the medication was used. And so we'll add a medication by pressing the plus button next to the medication, and then we'll add the medication that we just added to the inventory, Aggrastat, and we'll select the strength that we have in our inventory. Now see, it has 19 doses remaining. That's after the dose we add now. So if we added 0, we'd still have 20 in the inventory. If we add 2, there will be 18 doses remaining in inventory. And we'll just add a signature and select related diagnosis. Here we can select a diagnosis that the patient has had and say that the medicine is for that. This is just for an example. This medicine is not used for that. Save. And then we'll go back to the inventory just to see. Oh, well, first on the right side, you see that it has been posted, that's used, and it shows who signed it, and it shows what diagnosis it's for. And we'll go back over to the inventory tab, and we see that it's down to 19 doses when it had been 20. So both parts of the program, both parts of Medlium are keeping track of your action there. And if you then click on vaccine under the plus button instead of medication this time, it brings up basically the exact same procedure for vaccines, but we'll show you because it's just a different tab on the patient's page. We'll select a live influenza vaccine, and we will add a manufacturer, and when it expires, and the doses remaining, and an alert threshold. I'll save and see it shows up on there, exact same way. Go to the Patients tab. If we go to Recent Patients, just see if we have someone. And press on them. We'll go to John AC, and here we have medications and prescriptions, and then immunizations, which is where you add the vaccine. So we were looking for the live intranasal vaccine, and again, it's the exact same system where it's showing you the amount remaining after you add the vaccine. So we'll say, and one thing I didn't mention before is you can also change the date of when it was administered. I just kept it as today for the example, but if you want to change the date, you can change it. So we'll say this was done in August. If for some reason you're adding the record to Medlium now, but it was done earlier, that's always an option. And it shows up as a post on the right. So influenza live intranasal. And we go back to the inventory tab. And it's showing the remaining doses have been reduced down to 20 from 21. And that is the inventory tab and how to add new medications and immunizations to the inventory.